Welcome back, everybody. We are pulling cards for June the 8th. I'm going to pull one card for each sign. Be sure you check out your sun sign, rising sign, moon sign to get a more full picture of what may be going on. If you're looking for information on your love life, you may want to check your Venus sign as well. And if you're looking for information on what may be expanding in your life, you also want to check your Jupiter sign. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with Aries. Okay, so Aries, you guys have love, love, love showing up for your card. So this basically does talk about love, but it also talks about partnerships, really, of any kind. This would be similar to the Lover's card in another deck. On this particular card, we've got two pillars. Now, to me, when I see two pillars or two trees, this talks to me about a decision. So this is a decision having to do with some kind of partnership that you've got going on, or having to do with creating a partnership that you're making today whenever this card shows up for you, Aries. Next, let's look at the card for Taurus. Taurus, you have the Sun. Aquarius got this yesterday. The Sun card just means that you are doing those things that you find satisfying, that you enjoy, that make you happy, and nobody's breathing down your neck about them. Nobody's creating any deadlines. Nobody is ruining that feeling of freedom and the feeling of doing those things that make you feel happy and productive. Okay? So that's for Taurus. Next up, we're going to look at the card for Gemini. Gemini, you have the Six of Earth showing up, and the Six of Earth is just telling me that there is somebody who is making things right with you, that there's an even give and take on the table. So if you loan somebody a couple of eggs, maybe they're bringing the eggs back. For me, this is something is coming back to you that originally came out from you. And it's interesting how the universe will do that. Sometimes it's not coming back from the same source that you gave to. I notice a lot of times whenever I boost my ads on Facebook, I'll get more clients that week, but usually they don't come from the boosted ads. So I'm feeling like for a lot of you, not for all of you, but for a lot of you, something is coming back to you that you sent out into the universe, although it may not be coming back from the source that you thought it would. Okay? So that's for you, Gemini. Next up, we have Cancer. Cancer, you guys have the Strength card showing up in reverse, and what I'm sensing off of this card is that there's somebody in your sphere of influence who's trying to pin the blame on you for something, or say that something was all your fault, when really, if you step back and you look at the situation, you didn't have that much influence over this situation for it to be your fault or for you to carry the blame. Could be that this person that's trying to pin it on you did, but you didn't. And with the cards showing up like this, I think you're buying into this person's story. So rather than buy into somebody's story when they say that you're the problem or that you created the problem, step back, get that perspective, get that big picture perspective, and look at how much influence you actually had on this situation before you buy into whatever this person is saying. Okay? That is called emotional manipulation, my friends. So next up, let's take a peek at Leo. Leo, what you guys are showing up with is the Seven of Air. This just tells me that there are some things going on around you that are not exactly the way that they appear. And I feel like somebody around you is perfectly happy to let those continue to be not exactly the way that they appear. So there's a little bit of, this is a little bit of sneaky type of energy showing up here. Something sneaky happening in your sphere of influence. All right. So who's up next? Virgo. Virgo, you got the card that Scorpios got yesterday. So you've got the Tower card. And this is a card that just talks about something that you felt really secure about and that you thought would be there indefinitely gets suddenly and unexpectedly removed from your experience. Now, as it gets removed from your experience, this is really just the beginning of the story. It basically shows that whatever this was, whatever this situation was, it was stagnant. It wasn't growing. It wasn't going anywhere. And so to have this removed, now this puts you in a situation where you're looking to replace whatever this was. And once we get to the end of this story, then what we find is you're going to end up replacing this thing that disappeared with something that is much better, that you would have never found had this thing not disappeared. So in the long run, this ends up being a good thing to happen because it allows you to move forward and branch out and expand and be productive. But for the moment, it may kind of take your breath away a little bit. It is a shocking type of situation to find yourself in, Virgos. All right, next up we have the card for Libra. Okay, so Libras, what you have is the Five of Earth showing up in reverse. I do like this card in reverse. It basically means that instead of feeling lonely or left out, you're feeling like you're a part of the group, or like somebody is paying attention to you that probably wasn't paying attention to you before. So things are coming into a better balance there, Libra. Next up, we have the card for Scorpio. Scorpio, we have the Magician showing up in reverse. I'm feeling like we've got somebody showing up in our sphere of influence who is a trickster. Now, a trickster can be anybody from the neighbor kid down the street who's kind of like Dennis the Menace. You know, maybe he hands you a piece of gum and you get a small shock when you go to grab that piece of gum, all the way up to somebody who's a con man who's trying to get everything out of grandma's 401k into his or her bank account. So somebody who is a trickster showing up. We just want to be careful that day, Scorpios, that we're not agreeing to anything or signing anything that we don't fully understand and that we don't do our due diligence on and check out all the details. Okay? Now let's look next at Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you guys have the Six of Fire showing up in reverse. What I'm feeling like on this card for you is that there is somebody in your life that you are letting know exactly how much you appreciate. They've probably done something that has had a benefit to you and maybe other people as well. And so you're saying thank you, that you appreciate them doing that for you and for others, for a lot of you. Next up is Capricorn. Capricorn, what you have showing up here is the Eight of Air. And the Eight of Air is a card that talks about being stuck in your mind, overthinking things. It talks about feeling limited, restricted, like you can't move forward. But the catch here is nobody else is putting those limits or restrictions on you. The universe isn't putting those limits or restrictions on you. The only limits and restrictions that are on you are the ones that you have imposed yourself. So Capricorn, you want to step back. You want to look at this situation from a different perspective. Imagine telling your mailman about this situation and imagine what their reaction might be. That can give you a little bit of a different perspective because you want to be able to see this from a different perspective so that you don't have what you are using to block yourself in on that view. You want a different view. Okay? So that is for Capricorn. Next up, the card for Aquarius. So Aquarius, today you have the Four of Earth. And the Four of Earth is a card that tells me that you are saving something back. You're stashing something back, holding on to something for later. There is an alternative meaning, but I really don't feel like it comes into play, so I don't think I'm going to talk about it for today. This is just putting something back to use for later, stashing something away, holding something back. Next up, we have Pisces. And Pisces, what you have is the Ten of Earth showing up. And so this is telling me that you have done something that makes you feel more secure or more accomplished in the world. We can see that there's a big book here by this little fairy. You may have completed some kind of classes. You may have added on to your home. Or maybe that's not a book. Maybe that's a treasure chest. Let's see. I think it's supposed to be a treasure chest. Kind of looks like a book though. The top lid part. Anyway, You have done something to add to your sense of security in your experience now. So could have finished a class, could have added on to a home, upgraded a car, upgraded a vehicle. This could also have to do with relationships too. You could be upgrading a relationship, which adds to your sense of security in the world as well. Okay? So that's what I've got for everybody. Thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate it. Thank you for all the thumbs ups and the shares. And thank you to those of you who are getting private readings and private Reiki sessions from me. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I get to continue to do those things that I love to do. So thank you very much. Everybody have a fantastic day. And if I don't see you here for a private between now and then I will see you guys back on the next video. Peace out.